You know the great thing about that? We have a protester. By the way, were you paid $1,500 to be a thug? Where's the protester? Where is he? Was he paid? You can get him out. Get him out. Out. Folks, did you see where through WikiLeaks we found out that Clinton was paying people $1,500 plus an iPhone to go out and be violent at our rallies? Okay? It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. But I'll tell you what, they found our people are very tough. They found that out. So we also found...
All right, hold on. I got somebody on the phone right here that I wanted to call specifically. What's up? Hello, who's calling?
CJ, Cary. How are you, Tariq?
All right. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, now I wanted this brother to call up. This is Brother CJ. Now, so what's your full name, Brother CJ?
It's...
No, your last name. It's CJ.
Because I cannot... My name is a bit formal. So I like to keep it short and simplistic.
Okay. So his name is LCJ Cary. Okay?
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, this brother right here, LCJ Cary, was in the news recently because he was actually kicked out of a Trump rally. Now, this is the thing. This brother, LCJ Cary, is actually a Trump supporter. He went to the rally, and Trump called him a thug and had him kicked out. Is that what happened?
Not entirely.
Now what happened? Now what happened?
Okay. All right. So I am the kind of person who was raised in the Deep South. I call it the Deep South, from an Anabaptist church. So for some years now, I've been having visions. I said, "Will you give it to him?" He said, "Sure. Why didn't you come to us and tell us this earlier?" I said, "Look, there's thousands of people here. Line a mile long, 6 people deep. How am I supposed to know who you guys are in all this crowd?" So he's very cool. He took the document and said he would give it to Donald. So that's how it all came about.
So and you have glasses. You have something going on with your vision, right?
Yeah, sunglasses. I wear sunglasses, pretty much all the time. I shouldn't say, but pretty much all the time.
Okay, so Donald Trump singled you out. He singled you out and had you thrown out, and you still support Donald Trump.
Absolutely. Look, a black guy wearing sunglasses at night, waving a letter, that might look suspicious to anybody. So I cannot hold Donald responsible for that. I can say that what I actually thought would happen is that a security person would come over and ask me what was I waving and not give them the document. But with all of the, what I call black hate that Donald has gotten from us, from our community, I'm not surprised. Even at my house.
CJ.
I went out this morning.
CJ. I saw when they were putting you out, man, them white supremacists were yelling at you. I could see some of them. They were yelling racial epithets. Did you hear them calling you nigger?
Oh, I did not hear that, but it would be okay. You know why it's okay? Because my purpose there was not personal.
Wait. So wait. CJ, you said it's okay if they call you a nigger?
I said that's okay because God sent me. If I believe that God truly sent me, Then look at what happened with Dr. King. He was whipped. I mean, all kinds of things went on with us through history. But this would not have happened, and it would not happen at that event because God was with me.
So God wanted you to be called racial epithets, and God wanted you to be called a nigger, and God wanted racists to be yelling at you and throwing you out for no reason other than you being black?
Your question is well taken. But of course, that is not what God wanted.
So why are you putting that on God?
To get the document, what God wanted was for me to get the document to Donald. That was my mission. Now, I served in Afghanistan in a quasi-secret program. I was a U.S. Marine. I served in Afghanistan.
CJ. So God wanted you to God wanted you to get a message to an open white supremacist like Donald Trump. You know, Donald Trump is basically an open white supremacist.
I will challenge you that the Donald Trump that I know, that I've been dealing with as a federal federal investigator since 1986, is not a racist.
He's been sued for his racism, CJ. This is not like an opinion. He's actually been sued for racial practices against black people. This is documented. This is not my opinion.
14,000 apartments in 39 different buildings, all mostly white tenants. That is until the Department of Justice took notice in 1973 and slammed Donald Trump and his father Fred Trump with a lawsuit. Trump management was charged with discriminating against African Americans and breaking federal law. Donald Trump, then just 27, was president of the company. The Department of Justice accused the Trumps of violating the Fair Housing Act, arguing they were turning away renters based on race and color. Who tipped them off? Local activists, so-called testers, posing as potential renters at Trump's buildings, mainly in Brooklyn and Queens. Elise Goldweber was a lawyer for the DOJ's Fair Housing section at the time and was called on to handle the Trump case.
When the black testers came, they were shown, they may have been shown apartments, but were told nothing was available. Whereas when the white testers came, yes, there were things that were available. That would be the norm.
And if the Trumps did rent to a black person, Goldweber recalls, they would do so only at one building in Brooklyn, reserving the other buildings for white tenants.
That the white people would live in Trump Village and the people of color would live in Flatbush.
And according to the Justice Department, they even had a secret coding system to do it, a racial code. Here's how.
Some of the applications were marked with a C, which we learned that it meant colored, so that the prospective tenants who had come in were noted to be colored.
Yes, you heard her right. The Department of Justice alleged applications submitted by prospective African American renters were designated with a secret code, such as C for colored, to indicate a black person was looking to rent. In true Trump fashion, Donald Trump hit back, calling the government's accusations absolutely ridiculous, and telling the court, I have never, nor has anyone in my organization ever, to the best of my knowledge, discriminated or shown bias in the renting of our apartments. Trump's lawyer said the government's suit failed to give names, addresses, or specific incidences of discrimination. Claiming the lawsuit caused substantial damage to their business and reputation, Trump took the most unusual step of suing the Justice Department for defamation, seeking $100 million in damages. But that countersuit was tossed out by the judge. Even so, the Trump family maintained they never discriminated based on color, but were instead trying to avoid renting to people on welfare. 2 years later, in 1975, Trump and his father settled the case, agreeing not to discriminate against anyone. They also promised to advertise in publications aimed at minorities, familiarize themselves with the details of the Fair Housing Act, and notify civil rights groups of apartment vacancies. The Department of Justice claimed victory, but the Trumps never admitted any wrongdoing, reportedly noting the settlement was in no way an admission of a violation.
You do understand that, right?
Well, Tariq, let me tell you something else. I do understand what you said. However, I will also tell you that when Christ walked the earth, it is quoted that he was accused of a lot of things, which is what led him to the cross.
So Donald, wait, CJ, wait.
Accusations unto themselves does not make it true.
CJ, are you comparing Donald Trump to Christ?
I'm comparing what you just suggested about accusations.
Are you comparing Donald? When did Jesus Christ?
An accusation doesn't make it true. You have to prove it.
Brother, when did Jesus say grab a woman's pussy?
She used to be great. She's still very beautiful.
I moved on her, actually. You know, she was down in Palm Beach. I moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it.
Whoa.
I did try and fuck her. She was married.
Huge news there.
No, Nancy.
Yeah.
No, this was marriages. And I moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping. She wanted to get some furniture. I said, I'll show you where they have some nice furniture. I took out furniture. I moved on her like a bitch, but I couldn't get there. And she was married. Then all of a sudden, I see her. She's now got the big phony tits and everything. She's totally changed her look.
She's your girl's hot as shit. In the purple.
Whoa!
Yes!
Whoa!
Yes, the Donald has scored!
Whoa!
Oh, my man! Wait, you gotta look at me when you get out of your
Set this up.
That is very.
You give me the thumbs
Look
up.
at you. You are a
You
piece.
gotta put the thumbs up. You gotta get the thumbs up. Can't be too happy.
Yeah, let me.
Use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything.
Well, quite frankly, that type of conversation shouldn't even be entered into what we're talking about. Should not even be entered.
But
now, I will tell you something else.
CJ, sir.
Hold up.
Wait, let's deal with facts. CJ.
Just to let you know where I stand. In regards to that unfortunate question, I travel the world a lot.
CJ, I don't want you to go all the way. I don't want you to go all in a circle.
You asked the question, and you should be.
CJ, I just want a straight answer. CJ, I want a straight answer, brother. I want a straight answer.
I'm giving you a straight answer, but you won't let me get it out.
But you're not even letting me get the question out, CJ. Let me get the question out.
You just gave me a question. You asked me about Christ and
that's not my question. That's a deflex. That's not my question, sir. I'm talking about.
Oh, you got another question.
Trump's No. The initial question was Trump's racism, and then you start talking about Jesus. And talking about the accusations.
Because I'm trying to get you to open your horizons and understand that an accusation doesn't make it true.
But it wasn't an accusation. He went to court for it several times. So that wasn't just an accusation. It was basically proven.
Racism?
Yeah, that he was discriminating against black people. That's not an accusation. That was documented.
That was a time in New York City when a lot of landlords did not want to rent their property to blacks for fear of destruction, fear of tearing the places up. I've had property. Yes, I've had property and rented to blacks, and the vast majority of blacks I rented to damaged my property. One black went to a killer as he was being evicted, tore almost the porch down, and took off.
So Trump was right for being racist against black people.
Trump was right for guarding his rights and his property.
Oh, okay. So what is it about you that makes you so destructive since you were black too?
See, that's the point. When I started telling you I was born and raised in North Carolina, I came from a different environment.
But no. You just said no. You just said no. No, sir.
So hateful,
sir.
I've never seen that before.
Sir,
I don't get it.
Sir,
where is it coming from? And why is it coming?
Sir, you just said blacks are destructive. You're black, so what is it about you?
Now, you shouldn't take my comment to be all blacks. Of course not.
Well, whoa. You just said blacks be tearing up stuff. You're black, so what's wrong with you?
I said blacks that I've rented to have destroyed my property. That does not mean all blacks. I said ones that I rented to.
Well, why discriminate against all black people? Because that's what he was doing. He was discriminating against all black people. So are you justifying that?
Look, Donald Trump has not discriminated against all black people. If that were the case, he would not have black people in his employment. He would not have taken the time to write me a letter personally and thank me for asking him to stay together with his first wife. I'm
talking about a specific case where they did not let black people into those buildings, and he was sued for that. That's called racism.
I'm telling you,
that's a textbook version of racism.
My understanding, that was based on a number of landlords that found that they did not want to go into Section 8 housing, and therefore they didn't want to rent.
And that was all racism. That doesn't just All of them were racist then. I mean, you're just pointing to other races. Other races doesn't negate the fact that Trump was one too. That's he's racist too. That doesn't negate the fact that Trump was racist.
You shouldn't equate a person's right to protect their property with racism.
No, that's not. No, it's not.
No black can come into any of the property. No black.
You don't have a right to discriminate.
That's racist.
You don't have a right to discriminate based on a person's color. You know that, right?
You have a right to be selective.
You don't have a right to discriminate based on race. The law specifically
says
discrimination. That. The government calls it discrimination.
Don't call it discrimination.
The government called it discrimination. That's why he was sued and he had to make a
Everybody has the right to choose. I can walk into a store right now and they can choose not to serve me.
Then why does the government? Then why is it illegal?
There's something about you.
Then why is it illegal, Mr. CJ?
It's illegal if there is a documented pattern that cannot be defended.
Which is what Trump had. That's why he was sued.
But he could defend it. He could defend it, whatever pattern you're accusing him of.
But the law said no. The law said no. That's why he had to pay people out. Do you understand that?
Why did you say pay people out?
Yes, he had to make a payment. He was sued and he had to make a financial settlement for discriminating against black people. The government and the law said that you can't do that, and he had to make a payout because of that.
Well, let me tell you something else, Tariq. As a former federal investigator for the Department of the Treasury in Atlantic City, I can tell you a lot of times it's easier to settle a suit than spend years and years fighting the government. That's what I did. I created problems for people by saying the government gives me the authority and the right to accuse you. And you better be able to defend yourself, or I'm going to stay on you until you lose so much money you'll wish you had just settled and moved on.
Yeah, right. So
that is one of the reasons.
You're saying it's okay to discriminate against black people. You're saying it's okay.
Of course not. You
just said that earlier.
It's okay
you just said that earlier.
Your interests.
But in that interest,
I tell you what,
that interest is no. We're going to stick on the topic now. You're not going to talk in circles.
I am not going to get off the topic.
We're going to stick to the topic. I don't want you to talk in circles. You're not going to talk in circles.